Proposals don't close deals, but bad ones can kill them. Most proposals fall flat because they focus on the salesperson, not the customer. Me, we, I. But when they're done properly, your proposal becomes a closing tool. It's a crystal clear reinforcement of the value that practically makes the customer say, yes, let's move forward. In this episode, we're going to unpack exactly how to write proposals that drive confidence, eliminate objections, and simplify decision making. Welcome to Sales Today, podcast for sales professionals who want to sell with purpose, clarity, and confidence. I'm Fred Copestake, sales consultant, trainer, and author of Selling Through Partnering Skills, Hybrid Selling, and Ethical Selling. Each week, I break down one core skill that you can apply immediately to elevate your sales process and create real impact for your customers. So, too many proposals are nothing more than a glorified brochure. A winning proposal isn't actually really a document. It's a strategic tool that reinforces value, builds trust, and guides the customer through to a confident buying decision. So today we're going to cover why proposals matter more than you think, a 6-part structure, works every time, and practical examples that you can use to make your next proposal the best one yet. So proposals aren't just about pricing. That's a quote. They're decision-making tools for the customer's internal process. So a great proposal clarifies how your solution solves their problem. It reinforces differentiation versus your competitors. It will reduce risk and uncertainty, even fear. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I remember that if you're a certain age. And it will simplify approval for buying committees, decision-making units. There's more and more people involved, and we need to provide information for them. So the proposal should really just feel like a natural extension of the conversations you've already had. There's an argument that says if a customer reads your proposal and learns something new, you've done it wrong. Look, there might be other pieces of information in there, but if it's something that's a complete surprise, this might backfire. The job is to summarize, reinforce, make it easy to say yes. So let's break down what a winning proposal framework looks like. Now, we've got 6 parts that we're going to look at, and we're going to break it down section by section. So the first bit is the background. And this is where you see so many salespeople get it wrong because they can't help themselves that go on about their company. We are this, we are that, blah, 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 blah. That's not what goes in here. What we're putting in here is about the company that's going to buy. We're showing that we understand them. And look, I'll let you into a little hack here, a little secret, that for this, what you can do more often than not is go to their website, look at About Us, cut and paste the stuff that they like to say about themselves. All we're doing here is we're just showing that this is about them. We're going to get into some of the detail a little bit later on. And so that is in the next section, where we're going to start to reference previous meetings, their challenges, business priorities, and really make it clear it's about them. So this section is about the need or the opportunity. So it's about framing the problem clearly, reinforcing what the problem is, what we've heard them say, what we've discussed, and why it needs solving. So we might say something like, your maintenance processes lead to an average of 8 hours downtime monthly, and this is costing an estimated £200,000 in lost production annually. If we've got that data, if we've got hard facts, and we can quantify the impact, that's going to help because it's going to start to create urgency. And that's what we should be doing in sales meetings. It's interesting that when I'm talking to people on training, that I often say that if you're not doing the meetings right, you can't write the proposal. And so in the meetings, think about what it is you're going to be putting into this document, into this particular section about their need. If you're not looking to do that, what are you talking about in the meeting? Because what this does, it then sets us up to talk about what our solution looks like, explaining where we can help. And so this isn't just listing out a ton of features. I mean, worst thing to do here. What we're doing here is we're connecting the solution that we've got to their problem. How are we solving those things that are getting in their way? That's what we're trying to do there. And here, what I would urge people to do is to keep it simple. The temptation, because we're talking about ourselves, is to go in and to put tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff because we've got it, it's there. Things we like talking about. So we've had a load of training around. But keep it simple using language which is leading around benefits and going easy on tech jargon. Now, if it's jargon that the customer would use and it shows you understand their world, that's okay. But don't use your own internal stuff. Above all, talk about outcomes, the results, what the customer's getting when they implement this solution. Because ultimately, that's what they're buying. The big list of features, and particularly if you're selling physical product, that's not really interesting. And it hurts some people, I know, when I say stuff like this, but it's what that does, the outcomes, the results. Then what we can do is we can set up the next section, which is why us? And this is where we're giving ourselves the opportunity to differentiate. Yeah, so we're telling them, why is it you and not your competitor? That you are the right choice. So here, there's different things we could put in. We could put in proven successes, so case studies, client logos, things that we've done well in the past. Maybe we talk about some of our unique capabilities. There's some of the things which does set our organization apart. We could also include in here maybe some options and people can customize what the solution looks like. We could talk about the post-sales support, our approach, how we think like a partner and do all that good stuff. So really, if you're being lazy, a little bit like if you're going and cutting the stuff from their website, you could actually prepare this section if you work into a template. I love templates. Love templates because I don't like to reinvent the wheel. But you could actually have this pretty much already written. The need, the solution, absolutely unique, has to be written fresh every time. This piece, potentially, it could be the same every single time. And then what we're doing is we need to put pricing in. Ultimately, yeah, we do have to put the price there. And what I would encourage people to do is to put some kind of justification next to that. So people who've been on training with me, and I tell a kind of weird story here. I use this strange rugby expression of get your retaliation in first. Get your retaliation in first. Actually, I believe it came from the British Lions in 1974, I think it was. They went on tour to South Africa and they had this infamous 99 call. And the idea with this was that the captain was going to call 99 if they needed to, and every member of the team was going to run in and they were just going to go punch South African. Now, they had this because they expected that that's what's going to happen to them. So they thought, look, we'll have this, we'll fight fire with fire. Turns out he called it immediately in the game, very, very early, one of the first lineouts. And of course, mayhem took place. And he was asked afterwards, the guy called Willie John McBride, he was asked afterwards, so why did you call that straight away? He said, well, I thought we should get a retaliation in first. We knew what was going to happen to us, so why not do that straight away? And so what we're doing here is next to price, we're putting a little like summary of what it is that the customer's getting. We're getting our retaliation in first because we know this is often the very first thing that they're going to go and read. So by putting these couple of bullet points, the reasons why they should do something, that hopefully then gets them to read the rest of the information that we've already applied. Yeah, so other things we could do at this stage if we're talking about pricing, break it down, yeah, so be transparent there. If we can go into ROI calculations, so as well as kind of the benefits that they're getting, the outcomes that they're getting, we can actually show that it makes sense from a return on investment point of view. Makes sense. If we're going to offer payment options, again, this will be the place to include that. But just think about that retaliation in first concept, that this is the first place people are going to go and read. So have something that's going to explain to them immediately that there is a point in them reading the whole of this and that what we're proposing is for their good. Last section, then, what we need is next steps. So a call to action. Yeah. What are we going to do to move forward? Yeah. So don't leave this vague. Be very explicit. Be very clear about what it is that should happen next. So we propose scheduling an implementation planning session next week. Uh, Please confirm availability so we can align on the next steps. If you want to take it up a level, include a timeline, milestones, the customer's actions. And if we're starting to do this, we're starting to move into the concept of creating a mutual action plan. Mutual action plan. What are we doing together to get the customers' outcomes, the results that they're looking for? Now, I'll cover that in a bit more detail as a separate kind of document, a separate concept in another podcast. But certainly timeline, milestones, customer actions, we could include that in a good proposal. Okay, so that's our structure. So a couple of little do's and don'ts, little checklist here. So do use the customer language. I mentioned already not to use your internal jargon, but if there's stuff that they say, even things that they've said in meeting, they've had a certain way of expressing it, get that in there. Shows we've been listening, shows that it's all about them. Reference previous discussions, reference previous agreements, previous successes, get all that good stuff in there. Keep it focused. Keep it focused, short and sweet. Yeah. Quantity isn't better in this case. Yeah, filler stuff just to make it look a bit more beefy. No, get it to the point. Make it easy for people to read, particularly if it's going to senior people. Yeah, make it visually easy to navigate. White space. White space is your friend on this. So don't worry about trying to pack everything in. Give people room to see the words. Um, so don't one of the don'ts somebody once suggested to me is that they try and hide the price. Oh, why would you do that? This is a document where we're telling people what it is they're going to have to invest with us. Yes, I don't bury that in there. We know where it's going to be and use that retaliation in first type thinking, the summary next to it that I talk about. Try not to introduce a load of new topics you haven't discussed. That'll become confusing. If while you're writing it, you realize that there's things that actually we should have discussed and it does make a difference, well, that should tell us that we need to have that discussion. We're not ready to write the proposal. And don't assume that the reader knows your solution inside out. Yeah, you do. You're close to it. You understand it. You love it. Why should they know as much about you? So just beware that they probably, again, I know this hurts, don't care really as much. Yeah. So in some ways, if it feels like it's a formal write up of the last conversation you had, I'd say you're very much on the right track. Yeah, that's how it should be. So let's have to do a quick gut check on this then. Would proposals that you send make sense to decision makers who weren't in previous meetings? That's a test. Yeah. It needs to sell your case even when you're not in the room. That's what we're trying to do here. If it's not doing that, it's not got the ingredients, it's not got the content that it's designed to be delivering. So just use that as a little test. Yeah, would your proposal make sense to a decision maker who wasn't in a previous meeting? Okay, so I'm trying to keep these short and sweet. So today we've covered why proposals are a powerful decision-making tool. They're not just admin. Kills me when I hear salespeople talk about this. Yeah, I know it's fun going out and talking to people, but this is part and parcel of a professional sale and getting to the point of decision. So we covered the 6 parts that makes your proposal customer focused, compelling, and easy for people to approve, easy for them to take forward. I've just been talking about practical ways to turn those proposals into a natural extension of your sales conversations. So the other thing that we're doing on these podcasts now is giving a very deliberate action. So your challenge, your action as a result of this is take your next active opportunity and build a proposal using the structure we talked about. Background, need, solution, why us, pricing and justification, and those next steps. Test how much clearer and stronger it feels and watch the effect it has on the decisions being made. They should happen faster. So, if this episode has helped sharpen your approach, subscribe, share, connect with me on LinkedIn. If we're not, send me a little message. Tell me that you've heard it. Look at the scorecard that's in the show notes as well. That'll give you a little bit of insight into the way that you do the whole of the sales process. This is just one little element. We're covering a whole load. My name is Fred Copestake. This is Sales Today. Until next time, propose confidently and keep selling the right